Hi everyone, I'm Kathy. I'm from BME. And today I'd like to share with you on how we automate our workflow in chemistry. We have an alert, learning analytics, and we automate that to get instant feedback from our students. This automated cloud flow can actually immediately pull the information directly from the MS Forms to simultaneously update the Power BI visuals. You can share it to your subject team through the LMS or MS Teams. That's one. And later on, if we have the time, I would also like to share with you on how to also use Power Automate to send email to your students if they in case sign up for the LSP, and you can give them the join team going to your MS Teams link. There are a few things that you need. You will need MS Forms, MS Power Automate, Power BI, and of course, since we are linking this to the LMS, you'll need LMS. And as a backup, I normally would also use the Power BI desktop. I know that you already know how to create a form, but for the benefit of everyone, we will start this whole process from scratch. So I am here in the Microsoft Forms online version. You just need to make a new quiz. And then maybe for today's sharing, I'll just call this form sharing. Okay, then that should be the title. And down here, maybe I'd like to have a liker, and I'd like to ask you on maybe your learning experience, and then I don't want the stars. I still wanted 5, but let's just change it to the number. And I'd like to require you to answer this form. Then another one, I'd like to check with you. Maybe I have a multiple choice question here to ask you on whether you'd like to join the LSP. This is not a complete sentence, but you all know how to do it already. So so to save time, then I'll just put it here, join LSP, and of course the options are either yes or no. And maybe I can ask you to maybe give a text for feedback. Okay? And I should require you to answer that as well. So all here are questions that you are required to answer. So that's all for this one. And I'll just need to check on my settings. It should be ready here. But for the settings, instead of anyone can respond, I'll keep only people in my organization can respond. But instead of 1 response per person, I'll just remove this one. Okay? Or maybe I would also put a choice. Maybe let's add another one here. Let's say tutorial group, or tutorial class. Let's say I have PE 1 to 4 and okay. So that's it. So I can just save this one. This is already saved, and later on we can share this. So I'll just open the share link here. After you're done with the form, we already have it here. I need your help to go to Power BI. Okay, so let's go to the Power BI, and it will open this window. When you are there in your Power BI, you need to click to your workspace. So go to my workspace. It should be below or this one. And then we won't be downloading or creating any Excel sheet. Instead, we will make a streaming dataset. So you have to go here under the new icon and click streaming dataset. And you will have here this API. And click next. And let me just title this Chem Auto Sharing. Values from stream. Normally, I'll just copy what I have written here, which is learning experience. And I know that from the learning experience, the options are number. So I'll put the number. Then the next one, I asked on whether want to join the LSP. So I'll just copy this, put it in this Power BI. And the answer there is a text string, so I'll just keep it that way. Then we have here the feedback, which is also a test string. And the last one should be the tutorial class. And if you will look here, in case you want to put the dates or whatsoever, the options are text, number, date, and time. Okay, so I just need 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for now. Then below that, you will see historic data analysis. I'd like you to activate that. Turn that on and then create. And we're done. Once you're done, you'll see, I'll refresh this page. And now we already have, where did it go? Chem auto sharing for our data set. Okay, since we already have a data set, what we need to do next is to automate. So if we want to automate, let's go to Power Automate. And up here, you'll see a few options. I'd like you to go to Create. And you'll see Automated Cloud Flow. So you just select that and we can put the title here. I'll just follow the same thing, Chem Auto Sharing, so that later on it's easier for me to look for the file name. Then I'll choose the first one, when a new response is submitted. And let's create that. So it will open this flow, and from there, it will look for the form ID. Just have to choose the form, and it should be the one that we made a while ago, Chem Auto Sharing. And we need to add another step, and you have to choose for the forms again. Then you have to click on Get Response Details so that whenever a student submits a form, this will be activated. Form ID, let's choose the same thing, Chem Auto Sharing. And the response ID will be, of course, it should be the same response ID. And we can add another step. For the next step, what we'd like to do is to go to the Power BI. Directly go to the Power BI. And we would like to, hold on, let me find it, look for it, add rows to a data set. So that's what we need. For the workspace, we have to choose our own workspace. So I'll choose my workspace. For the data set, we already created Chem Auto Sharing a while ago. And for the table, it should be real time. Once you click real time, it will also show the 4 options that we encoded a while ago. So learning experience, then we have to choose learning experience in our form so that it would reflect the values. Then for the join LSP, then we just choose join LSP. For the feedback, let's just choose feedback, tutorial class. Let's put here tutorial class. And we can save this and go back. Now we already have the linkage or the connection from our Microsoft Forms and our Power BI. As I've mentioned a while ago, I told you that I also use the Power BI desktop. Okay, let me open the Power BI desktop. You can also directly use the Power BI online, but I prefer to do it in the desktop first and then later on publish it online so that I can have a backup. So now we're already here in our Power BI desktop. What you need to do next is to get the data. Normally, we would import our data from Excel, but this time around, we need to get the data from the Power BI dataset. Okay, so click that and connect. And we have to choose which dataset. It should be this one, Chem, auto sharing, and then we create. Then from there, you'll see that it actually pulled the real-time data. And these are the same data that we have: feedback, join LSP, rate your e-learning experience, and the tutorial number. I know that you all know how to make your Power BI visuals already. It depends on you. But for today, let's just, as I mentioned to you, let's start from scratch. So I'll just click here on the feedback, and it should make or create this feedback visual. Just let it be. And then for the join LSP, yeah, I'll put it there. Okay, and then rate your e-learning experience. I would like to change the format to the gauge. Okay, and I'll make this bigger. Then for the gauge, I'd like to, instead of a sum, I'd like to get the average. And under gauge axis, I'd like to have a minimum of course, 0. Maximum, it's 5. And let's say I want a target of 4 or 3.5, maybe 3.5. Okay, and it should reflect. Okay, I won't be doing any aesthetics. I won't change the color or whatsoever. You all know how to do that already. And there's another one here, the tutorial class. And I'd like the tutorial class to be a slicer, so that next time, yeah, I'd like it to be a list or maybe a drop down. So this is my Power BI visuals. It's a very simple one. No color or anything at all. And then next, I'd like to publish this. Do you want to save your changes? Yes. And I'll save it under my desktop Power BI CPS visuals folder. And I'll just name it the same thing. I'll save this one. Now the file is saved. And I'd like to also save that in my workspace. So you have to select workspace and select. And it will publish the file online. So success, and got it. So we have to go back in our online Power BI, and let's refresh this. And so now we have the Chem Auto Sharing dataset that we did a while ago and the Chem Auto Sharing report. If you click on that, it should look the same with the desktop version. Okay? If it's only you who want to look on this visuals, then you don't have to share it anymore. But if you want to share it to your subject team, there are two options from here. You can immediately just share this to your MS Teams, chat in Teams. So you can just share it there, and you just have to select where you want to send it to. But for me, I send it to LMS. So you can just go here under File, and you need to go to the Embed Report and choose Website or Portal. And you need to copy the HTML, which is this iframe, and you just copy the whole thing, and you can close this. Next, we can go to the LMS. This is the chemistry LMS, and I just created this ENG content folder, and it's empty so that I can show you. Then let's build an item, and let me just call it ENG sharing. And then inside, you will see this source code. You just click on the source code, paste the HTML code that we have a while ago, and you can just save this. Then you will see that your Power BI visuals is also here already. So let's submit. Okay, now let's test our Power BI. Up here, it should be fine already. We can test the Power BI. That's one of the workflow. But later on, as I've mentioned to you, if I want to get another information there, to send email to my students for an MS Teams link so that they can join the LSP, then we'll do that later. But for now, let's go back to the forms, the one that we have created a while ago. And let's get the share link, which is, let me just shorten it, just this one, and I'll copy this and I'll put it here. Let's assume that I am one of the students and I said, rate your learning experience. Let's say, I'll just put 3. And I want to join LSP. Feedback for now, and let's say tutorial number is TE03. Okay, just the middle. Then let's submit. And the result should be there. And now let's check on whether, okay, hold on. Let's check our Power Automate. The value is now there. And let's check our LMS. Let's refresh this, and the value is right there. The good thing about this is that, as you can see from our workflow, after your students submit the form, the Power Automate will immediately extract the information from there and put it into your Power BI visuals. Compared to last time, if we have an alert or the survey at the end of our session, what you have to do is that after the students submit the response in the form, you have to download the Excel file and then process the Excel file to put it into your Power Automate, and then later on share it to your subject team. It's a repetitive process. And I have another workflow wherein, unlike the students who actually said yes here, join LSP, whenever they submit the form, I want them to receive an email telling them that this is the join link for the LSP MS Teams. Okay? For those who actually said no, then they won't receive any email. How can we do that? Or how do I automate that? I normally would just go here in my Power Automate again, and I'll create a new one, Automated Cloud Flow. And this time around, what I'd like to do is maybe auto sharing, auto, maybe MS Teams link. And when a new response is submitted, I'd like that to be the flow trigger, and I'll create. So I'll pick the form or choose the form, and that's the Chem Auto Sharing that we have done a while ago. And I'd like to have another step, and that would be to other forms, get the response details. That should be Chem Auto Sharing, and the identifier is the response ID. As I've mentioned to you, what I'd like to do is to have a condition. So I'll click the condition, and under choose value, I'll choose join LSP. Then down here, if the value is equal to, let me copy here so that it's exactly the same. If the value here is, will be yes, then I'd like to send an email. So I'll just choose mail and send an email notification to a list of valid emails. I can just pull the student's email from the form. Then subject, I can just say, for example, today, join LSP, Chem Auto Sharing, for example. For some reason, I want to title it like this so that I can easily remember which one is the one that I used for our sharing today. After our sharing, I'll delete all this because I wouldn't want to clog my files. So for the body, we can just say hello students or hello. Thank you for signing up. Thank you for signing up for the Chem LSP session. Here is the MS Teams join pin. And where can we get that? Of course, under the MS Teams, I made the new MS Teams, Chem LSP, Chem Workflow Demo. Example, this one. Let's check. Okay, Manage Teams. Okay, it's empty. It's just me. And then under Analytics, under Settings, sorry, you have to go to the team code and copy this. Copy. Then let's go back. Put it here. Say, see you there. And say, best regards, for example, Kathy. So, it's from me. Okay, and then I want to highlight this. It's too small. I'll just make the font bigger now. And that's it. You can just save this. So if they said no, then we cannot force them, right? It's up to the student whether they want to join or not. So I'll just click here, save. That's it for me. I hope that you find the process or the workflow useful. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask or message me. I will save this video so that you can watch it and follow it at your own time and convenience. That's all. Bye, everyone.